Hey, it's Barbara Santon here, midwife and mindset coach. And today I want to talk about food and our relationship with food. Some of you might know that I have an online course called Redefine Your Relationship with Food. And that came from all of my coaching experience, plus my own experience with relating to food and having some strained relationships with food. And I have a very shocking thing to say about that. I don't believe in my own philosophy anymore. I don't believe in intuitive eating for me. Now, some people are good at it, but I have always struggled with food addiction, and I didn't realize that that's what it was until recently. My journey with food addiction has been long and painful. I don't know when it started, like if there was a time in my childhood or anything when I started using food, but I do remember, my teenage years, binging on chocolate when I got my own money, and secretly while I was out, and then at home, in front of my family, looking like I was eating healthily. And I was a little bit, you know, chubbier than I would have liked to have been, but I wasn't by any stretch overweight. But I had issues with my body image and like all kinds of stuff going on as a teenager, as many of us do. And I grew up in a very, very healthy household. My mom was a single mom, and she was very much into organic and health food, even from my birth, like, in the 70s, because in the Netherlands where I was born, that was already normal. And so when we moved to the US a decade later, she was always into the sort of hippy dippy health food stuff, which really served me well because it allowed me to really enjoy healthy food from an early age. So I never disliked healthy food. I just also really loved unhealthy food. And it got me on a cascade of ups and downs throughout my adult life as I grew into, out of teenagehood into adulthood, of using sugar to soothe. And that was a recent discovery. I always thought that I just had really bad willpower, or, I realized that sugar is addictive and that I am addicted to sugar. But I didn't understand the whole cycle of food addiction until I got introduced by one of my own coaching clients, actually. She keeps just referring to this way of eating called bright line eating. And Susan Pierce Thompson is a PhD in neuropsychology. I hope I'm saying this right. Look her up. She's unbelievable. Her credentials and the research she has done is like phenomenal. I will always sing her praises. I just recently, even though my client has been talking about this for a long time in my sessions, like, dropping sort of her name and like in passing, I was like, wait, let me just research this just to get a better glimpse into what my client's going through or what she's doing, but also for my own interest. And so, wow, I have now done, I'm in one of her programs, and I have done a previous program, which I will talk about more. But mostly in this video, what I want to talk about is my own struggle with food addiction and my own struggle in my brain with navigating food. And this amazing doctor, Susan Pierce Thompson, has completely shed light onto what has been going on. And I have finally realized that it's not me and I'm not the problem. It's not my childhood issues. Although, we all have triggers that caused us to become a certain way, and that she even, validates that. But it's not me. It's just how my brain has been operating, and it just has been getting worse. Now, the reason I've realized it's been getting worse is in the last year, some of you again know that I left a relationship that was very difficult to leave. And I've been single and alone, including my kids moving out, all at the same time, and starting my own business. Like, it's been a big change this year. All good, but also very stressful on some levels. And so I started using food to soothe myself again, and I wasn't able to stop. So for 6 years before that, I thought I had it under control. I thought because I was a normal weight and even thin and very fit, practicing yoga every day, running, I looked fantastic in my body, I would still have secret binges at least a couple times a month, and sometimes, once a week, and sometimes more often. But I would always balance it out with really strict eating. And none of my family knew this. My daughters don't know this, except they will now. My partner at the time didn't know this, and no one knows it. No one knew it until now. I'm like totally outing myself. And I thought it was just me. There was something wrong with me. And I also thought, fine, if I can keep my weight down. I never purged. I never threw up. I just binge ate, and then ate very strictly for enough days to balance out the binging. I know it sounds really bad. So nobody knew about this, and I thought that fine, like I basically just resigned myself to the fact that, okay, well, as long as I'm staying thin and I'm very fit, I'm generally very healthy, and even the stuff I would binge on was often as possible, like organic cookies or like gluten-free cookies, or chocolate that was ethically sourced or whatever. Like I would try and keep it healthy, but I did binge on ice cream sometimes, or donuts, or like croissants from a fancy store, or even Tim Hortons, which in Canada is a donut store, or Starbucks goodies or whatever. So it wasn't always healthy, but my general diet was healthy, and I trusted that I was healthy physically, which I think I was, but mentally, boy, was I struggling. And then so this year came along, and I was having these sort of binge moments again, but they wouldn't stop. I wouldn't be able to hold off for the days of strict eating and exercising like I used to be able to do. And so I started gaining weight, and I started feeling really depressed. Not really depressed, but I started feeling depressed about that, and being like, wow, now I'm sort of in the dating arena, and now I'm getting bigger and bigger. And most people didn't notice it. I never went outside of my highest weight, which is still within my normal BMI, like just slightly on the higher end. But so what I really want to emphasize is I am in a normal size body. I appear on the outside, in the outside world, to have it together. And there's no way I would have an eating disorder. I don't have rotten teeth. I'm not overweight, that kind of thing. But I really think I fall through the cracks of the diagnosable eating disorder spectrum. And this Bright Line Eating program that Susan Pierce Thompson has created, backed up with all kinds of science and all kinds, years and years and years of study on her part. I now realize that I really was in this like world, in this mindset of someone who has an eating disorder, and it was such a relief. It was such a relief to find her and to find her philosophy. I gobbled up her book. I listened to it on audio, and then I bought it and I've read through it. I've done her 2-week challenge. Now I'm inside the boot camp, and I recorded my 2-week challenge, so I'm going to post that as the video. I'm going to drip out the videos because I did a video several, like almost every day, I think. I don't remember. And so that's it. That's what I wanted to share today. My newfound freedom with food. I just think that the whole world should know about this because it is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And it all scientifically makes sense to me. I mean, I have a certification in applied positive psychology, as well as my science background, my degree in health sciences. Like, I think critically when it comes to research, and she has everything to back it up, and it's wonderful. So I will leave you with that, and I will share my bright line eating journey further with you going forward. So I might even cancel my food program, although I think it might work for some people. I don't know. I don't even know if I believe in it anymore. Isn't that funny? So I will leave you with that, and I'll see you next time.